Wow. Um, I don't know how these people they can do the same thing and have no shame. Gaslighting is truly utilized in this program, right? In so many ways, and it's the same thing. After a while, you figure out they have like a pattern of things they do. This pattern is so consistent that I remember a cop like start speaking in law enforcement involved, and he says something out loud. So, oh, now you have doubts, huh? And because I made this video so many times, they have this thing they do, right? To make you feel doubtful about the manipulation that obviously are happening, right? To make you accepting of what's happening to you. Everything is utilized. Everything is used to try to make you feel that. But at this point, they do the same thing. So he's like, oh my gosh, again, the same. I'm not. And they do the same thing. They do this. There's a silence. And then they start deflecting, talk about, oh, your feet are going to be burned. This and that's going to happen. You're going to go die in that. And they deflect. Typical gaslighting tactics, right? Deflection is part of this gaslighting method of just like try to disorient somebody for this distorted reality. For example, I'm employed right now. My employers are participants in this program, right? I know that they made it clear. And so what happens is you already have this state of like paranoia, understanding that they're doing something, and they made it clear that they are employing you to torment you, to destroy you, right? So you already have a little bit of a paranoia. But to add to it, this technology that these perps are utilizing on me are altering my mind to create this extreme paranoia. Not even extreme, but like adding more doubts. For example, I'm working on the reports, right? I'm looking at the reports, I'm putting things together, and they start creating these thoughts that, oh, maybe this person is doing this and that and that. And then you're like, you know what? You don't know if it's true or not, right? You don't know what these employers of yours who are perps are doing in the ways they sabotage you. So it's not like you can discredit them. You can discredit this perps interacting with you via this technology. So the best thing to figure out is ask the question. But at that point, they already made thoughts and created this thought. And you're like, you know what? The best thing to figure out is just ask the question and figure out what actually is happening. You ask the question to this person who's in charge of whatever they're doing, and they tell you what happened, right? And they say, okay, that's why this looks like that. Makes sense. Boom. But this doesn't end like that. Oh, they come back to you. You see, you thought he was doing this and that, and that's when they're the one who start triggering this thought to process, and then try to make you feel doubtful on the things that you know are being manipulated with you. And they do that a million times. Every other day they do this. It's non-stop. And the perps comes in and say, oh, you're going to die in debt. So they start deflecting. They have this consistent pattern of gaslighting that is non-stop and so similar. It's just so patterned in this fashion. And the things they do is they get quiet. It's like the silence. And the silence is supposed to be like, oh, you see, it's you, we're mapping you. And I'm like, don't you feel embarrassed that you've done this a billion times to make me acceptive of this manipulation? I even know that you guys do that. I thought at this point, it's like, okay, it's too obvious. They get quiet. It's like, I know you triggered this doubt in the first place. And the reason why I let those doubts go, because I don't actually know what is truly happening. I know that they can be doing that. So to discredit is like, no, they're not doing that. So it's like, I don't know. I know their purpose, so they can. Who knows what they're doing to sabotage me? So I asked the question, figure it out, and that's that. And these perps who have no self-respect will go through this whole same routine. They've done it a million times with me. Matter of fact, they do it so much that when I make videos, right, I say the same thing. I remember a cop, they did the same thing. They did the same thing to me. The cop comes out, like, hey, you have doubts now? And they start going to deflecting stuff. No, you're going to die in debt. It's you with mapped. It's not you. Listen, you're doing the pedophilia type of torture. You're tormenting me in this pedophilia ways. You're rewiring my brain, manipulating my brain in all these different ways. These perps, I don't know exactly what's happening behind the scene there. I don't know how they are destroying my life in whatever way they're ruining, but I know they're doing something. I don't know how. I'll figure it out one day. Maybe it'll be revealed the way they're going to reveal everything. but I know they're participants, and I know they're doing things to determine to disorient me too. And you hear this perp saying, "No, it's still you," and they use children. They have no self-respect because now they make me look like a genius. Because I've said that a million times, and it's going to happen again soon. And it's the typical gaslighting method. It's so systematic. Literally, doing this it's like textbook gaslighting. To try to get you feel doubtful, but they're using very sophisticated technology that actually manipulate your thought process. They use these retards to trouble. Nah, it's not real, and they have no shame. I'm telling you, they are children-minded people, and they do the same thing that I just said, to the point where this perp who's a cop, to be funny, say, "Hey, you have doubt now," using his, because that's the things they do all the time. And they get this silence, and it's like a silence that's supposed to be like a deep, mistakeful. It's like, oh gosh. Same thing, right? No shame. You don't feel weird about this. And they're going to do that again. For me, it's going to be consistently the same thing. Matter of fact, if somebody says something else right now to deflect what I just say, "Oh, you're fired." Why is she saying that? It's just to deflect. They do these things consistently that I'm able to tell you things in a way that it's going to happen again. And it's so obvious. Or they tell me you're going to fight. Why are they saying that now? It's because they want you to accept this retardation. I have no doubt. Target individual, they are rewiring the brain in ways that are so disgusting and pedophilia-centric. They are destroying who you are, they're changing who you are, and then they try to gaslight you and try to make you feel doubtful by any means that you're not being manipulated. And for me, it's been the consistent things of, "Oh, you see, you asked this question about this. Oh, you thought he did something. You see, we mapped it. We mapped." Same shit every day. And truly, your brain, as manipulated as it is, they lock it in this retarded way. I'm sorry for using the same the retardation terminology, but it truly becomes to that point. You can do it once, twice, okay, then now it becomes systematic. And this purpose, just like clockwork. Okay, come in, "Oh, we mapped, you're gonna die, you're gonna be fighting, you're gonna die, they'll shoot you, we see we're right, we're telling the truth, you see? Typical. And they use tonality as if "Oh my gosh, the mistake is so..." You just did that 2 days ago, you did that a day ago, you did this 3 hours ago. Everything they can use to try to make you feel identify with this man, they will do it. Or you ask the question. And the thing is, because I'm a target individual who is dealing with the V2K, so the thought process is also manipulated. So they even drive you, they even condition, they even manipulate your thoughts to be doubtful. It's not like you're no longer doubtful by yourself, because of just their perps. You're doubtful because they're making you think in this doubtful way. And then they do the same thing. And they start talking about random things to deflect because you figured out what they do. To all my target individual, stay strong. Look at this gaslighting for what they do. These perps have no self-respect. They could do the same thing a million times in the same ways, and they don't feel no shame. It's like, don't you feel embarrassed that obviously you're doing the same thing? You're going to try to create doubts about what you do to me, about the manipulation, and the doubts come in every shape and form, and it makes no sense. It's like, "Oh, you see, we're telling the truth. He's not trying to do this." Oh my gosh! First of all, you are the one triggering this thought process. Second of all, the reason why you have doubts is because this person is a perp, so you don't know the extent of what they can do to sabotage you. But they use that because you don't know what these people are doing behind the scene. For example, like I said, I'm being employed by these people who I know are perps. I know they're destroying my career one way or another. I don't know what they're doing exactly. So you ask, not knowing, and they start creating this thought process, which you don't go against because you actually don't know the extent of what they're doing. And these perps there, oh, They try to use that as a doubtfulness. Like, I have no doubt about. Listen, target individual. I have no doubt that my brain is being rewired in these disgusting ways. They are changing who I am as a human being, as an individual, and doing everything possible to try to make me feel to identify with these manipulations. And it goes to that extent. I know I sound like a genius, but you heard this a million times. A cop who's a perp start making fun of me by saying the same thing. It's like, oh, you got doubt now? And you hear this perp, no, we have doubt. No, you don't have doubt that you manipulate the brain. You have to be a gimmick to the point that you do the same thing. These perps have no shame. And they say the things like they're children. They truly are children. It's like, oh, I have doubts. No, you don't. There's no doubt. You do the pedophilia type of torture. You manipulate my brain, and you work for governmental entities that have issue with pedophilia. And you can say Roy Moore unless it's said in certain ways. There's certain things I have no doubt about in regard to what they do to me, in regard to my thought process being manipulated, in regard to how I'm no longer myself. Now, the doubt is what else is going on. For example, I have doubt in regard of who's going to frame me in what way, which child is going to be saying that, but I know something's happening. They tell me I'm going to be the frame. I don't know exactly the frame, but they're giving me hints. I don't know. I have doubt about that, but I expect something. You see? I have doubt about what my employer currently is doing behind the scene, but I don't have doubt about how I'm being manipulated to experience these things. Target individuals, stay strong. And don't subscribe to this gaslighting and the deflecting tactics to try to confuse you and disorient you. You're being manipulated. You are no longer yourself, and you will never be yourself as long as these people are in your brain manipulating you. The V2K, this synthetic telepathy, this EEG herodizing and cloning is rewiring your brain, your thought process, your brain as a whole. You will never be yourself. However, stupidity, and these people have no shame of level. They are going to gaslight you to retardation, and have no shame because they can be clowned on for pay or for whatever incentive they get out of it to confuse you and disorient you. Stay strong.